I remember the saying. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if it was League of Their Own, but it's the heart. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. I mean, look how many people are playing soccer. It's easy.
Don't be dissing on soccer.
I played soccer, so
Today's soccer shots. All right.
If they want to play the sport, yeah, it will aggravate them.
Yeah.
It's an aggravating sport.
Well,
but you're going to fail more than you succeed.
That's what I was going to say.
You're going to, I mean, you get 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're going to the Hall of Fame.
What is going on, everybody? We are back with another episode of the What's Your Hustle podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. This is a first. We're full of firsts on the show. First family member, first, I guess technically coach. I don't know. You were
Life
my
coach?
Yeah, I guess life coach, baseball coach. My dad. This is really something cool and interesting that we've talked about before, but we definitely have needed to figure it out. So,
Yeah.
it's interesting. But we're going to talk a little bit, not so much about life and who your favorite child is, but that is the first question. Now that I have you in the hot seat, who is, of the three of us, who's...
I will default and just say that it would be the grandchildren.
That's
would
fair.
be,
Yeah.
So then I can, I win.
Yeah, that's fine. All right, well, we got that off. So that's it, guys. That was a great episode. I just need to get that. No, no, the reason why
That would be the same question you asked me in your orientation as well at work when you said, who is your favorite child?
Because
in front of the entire new higher orientation.
Because I've yet to get an answer. But I don't, you keep dodging the question, therefore I keep asking the...
Yeah, I don't remember what the answer was then, but it wasn't grandkids because I didn't have them then. So.
No, no, you didn't. No, but the reason why we're sitting down and talking today is because you are the president of a baseball organization. I'm going to let you kind of introduce it, give your elevator pitch, talk about it.
Okay.
And then we'll get into the fun questions.
All right. So I've been involved with Frederick American Little League for 28 years, and 25 of those have been as a coach / president of the league. The league started in 1954, so we're in our 72nd year this year. It's all about the kids, and it's got to be about the kids, and that's our focus all the time. Is okay, if we want to do this, we want to do that. Okay, how's that work for the kids? And I got into it because there were some things going on back in the day that led me to believe that it wasn't all about the kids. So I said, need to get involved in this and see how I can help. And the next thing you know, it's a 28-year commitment. So, but it's been good. It's good.
Interesting. No, it's funny because talking about it, I know the history. Like I know a lot of the information. So we're name dropping today. So we need to call these people out.
Yeah.
28 years later, we're gonna air it all out. I'm just kidding. Yeah. No, the big thing is kind of like you said, it's about the kids. But just to give a little clarity, you're located in Frederick, Maryland.
We're in Frederick, Maryland. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's we've actually probably in the last 5 years we've had to change our location because we used to be in downtown Frederick, in a flood zone. And every time I used to joke that every time the kids spit on the field, we would have to close it because it flooded. We did move up to our new home in Braddock Heights, and the field is great. We pretty much can do what we want to it, and it doesn't flood. So it's been kind of nice.
Yeah. And for those who don't know what a flood zone is, in the city where you don't have a lot of water runoff area, there's these zones in the city that are specifically made for rain runoff.
Yeah.
Just so happens that they put
a field right in the middle of it. So yeah,
I mean, at some point, in theory, it sounds like a good idea. I know
when it wasn't raining, it was really nice. The grass was green.
Yeah,
and but boy, when it rained, you'd lose it for 2-3 days.
Yeah. So makes sense. So take me back way back in the day. what got you into baseball? Like,
All right.
it's not, like, I know you've played multiple sports, did multiple things. Why was baseball kind of like the one?
So I started playing when I was 5, t-ball. Grew up in Catonsville. And back in those days, your batting helmet was 2 earmuffs that you put over your
You had to fend off a
ears.
dinosaur at home plate. I get it.
And you had to share that earmuff with, if you got on base, then you had to take it off and give it to the batter. And so by math, I would say that's been 58 years since I started playing. And there's pictures of me as a toddler holding a baseball up. And from the day I was born, I was told that all I wanted to do was to play ball, have a ball. And then, you get into t-ball and you start playing, and it was the challenge was always appealing to me. Just, it's a hard sport. It's not easy, and you're going to fail more than you succeed. And for me, going 0 for 3 one day was enough for me to say, okay, I can't wait to get to practice, and I can't wait to the next game, because that was the next chance to get a little better. And, as you're going through your youth experience, you can run into coaches that as you're struggling, you can get a coach that's really bad, not very positive.
You want to air anybody out?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope.
I've
been very
temperature
lucky.
Temperature check.
All of my coaches were outstanding, and since I'll do a name drop, Frank Waters was my Little League coach. It wasn't Little League back then, but it was Catonsville Midget League. Frank Waters was one of the best coaches that I could ever ask for at that age. And then, you proceed through that. You get into some of these other programs, and you become a teenager. I played at HCYP. I played for Babe Ruth. I played for American Legion. And every coach that I had I was lucky, because they were good. Then I get into high school, and my JV coach in high school, my first coach in high school cut me.
Nice.
And so my second high school coach.
Michael Jordan had the same thing.
Absolutely. And I tell the kids that all the time.
Yeah. I don't know if you are as good as Michael Jordan, but.
Well, Michael Jordan didn't last in baseball, so I'm still going. He's not. So
Yeah. I think he won that one.
I tell the kids all the time, it's getting cut is fine. What are you going to do? How are you going to adjust to it? Are you going to quit, or are you going to figure out what you did wrong, and how can you get better? So
Yeah.
I got cut, and that just pushed me even more. So then I get into high school, and I'm going to name drop again because he was fantastic, is Dave Greenberg. He was outstanding high school coach. And, positive, supportive, hard when he needed to be, but it was all a good experience. And then I go off and start playing in college. The same thing is driving me. You're struggling, but you're always going to struggle. And then you have that day where you get the base hit, or you make a play in the field, and it's like, okay, I'll be back tomorrow for more, because while it's hard, when the positives far outweigh the negatives. So I get into college, and I end up with, at that time, he was in the top 12, I think, of coaches for Division I, Coach Joe Duff at Navy. And he was a ex-Marine. He was a drill sergeant. But I kind of grew up with that because my father was a Marine, and I was okay with it. The 25-man roster, I would say 23 of those 25 didn't really like him, but I thought he was the best, and he was very fundamental. Everything was about the fundamentals. Just be fundamental. He would sit and talk to me on bus rides, and everybody else would be like trying to stay away from the front of the bus.
So you were the teacher's pet.
I was the suck up. Yes.
Okay.
So, but hey, it's okay.
Sometimes it works out in your favor.
And he was a good guy. He's a good guy. Then I transferred to Maryland. I won't name drop here, but was not the same kind of experience. And my other job being HR, one of the things we tell people all the time is you can learn some of your best lessons from your worst boss. And I learned some lessons from the coach at Maryland that I don't want to be that guy. And I'll be more like Joe Duff. And to tie that into why I keep coaching now, so that I was playing and I get out of that and I start coaching. One of the last bus rides I had with Joe Duff when I was transferring, he's like, well, what are you going to do now? And I said, well, I'm going to go play at Maryland. He's like, no, after you're done with baseball, what are you going to do? I said, I'll probably, look to coach somewhere or do something like that. And he gave me that military point and he said, you need to. Your job now is to give those kids the experience that you had.
So that's like 22 years old? 21?
Probably 20, let's see, that would have been 80.
Don't age yourself.
82, 60, 20, 21, 22.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a 21-year-old Rick Wilson.
And he said that to me and it just struck a chord. And I was like, you know what? He's right.
Did it have the same, did you have the same thoughts then when he said it? Kind of like now? Obviously, different perspective. You're 21 compared to, I'm not even going to drop your age now. But
63, I'll tell you. I'm fine.
But you're still in your prime, right? You're still in college. You're still playing. There's opportunity of after college, right? There's different situations where you're still in that player's mindset. But here now he's putting this responsibility of now you need to go teach the kids how to play the sport. It's your responsibility now.
Yeah.
Do you kind of as a 21-year-old, you're like, whatever. Or is it more of I'm kind of carrying the torch?
Your first thought is, well, I'm not done yet. Because like every kid who has played, they all have dreams of going into Major League Baseball. So I was having conversations, just feelers about, baseball at the next level. But you're in the Navy, so we can't really do anything, So I'm like, okay, so maybe if I transfer to Maryland. There were other reasons I transferred, but I go there, maybe I have a chance. Well, that didn't work out, but whatever. So yeah, initially you're just like, I'm not done playing yet, but I'll keep that in the back of my head. And then at Maryland, everybody's going to find out at some point. At some point, you're either going to be 8 or you're going to be 18. You're going to know that you're done. There's things that happen and you just say, okay, it was fun. It was a good ride, but you're done. So what are you going to do next? And that's when I fell back on what he said. And I think about playing at Navy. This is really dating myself. We played LSU at LSU, probably the nicest field I've ever played on in my life. And it was fantastic. And I remember going back to the hotel room and people were like, the game was on ESPN. The game was on ESPN. And this was before ESPN was popular.
Was it like the stop picture where it's music in the background, black
and
white?
It was claymation is what it was.
All right. No more old jokes.
Yeah. It was, so ESPN, you had to subscribe to get it. It wasn't just available for everybody.
Okay.
So everybody was on the phone calling their parents, trying to get them, hey, the game was on ESPN. And I'm like, wow, what a great experience. And, so playing LSU, spending a week in New Orleans during Mardi Gras, crazy. And I have a picture, I don't know if you ever saw it, standing there with pigeons, head to toe in the French Quarter. You stand there and you feed the pigeons and they will literally come sit right on top of you. That's not the only thing they'll do, but you take your chances. And then, we end the season playing at the University of Maine and we're literally 1 out away from being the first military school to go to the College World Series. This was back before the super regionals and all that stuff.
Mhm.
You win the conference, you go play in the regional, you win the regional, you go to the World Series. And
Yeah, very true. So
we're
that's
3-2.
yeah.
And then the guy from Maine hits a 2-run home run, and I can still see our center fielder scaling the fence trying to catch it, and he had no chance, and we lost 4-3. The whole time, the crowd is going crazy. It was a big stadium, crowd screaming and hollering, and we're like, yeah, we get it, Maine, you won. Okay, we get it. But they weren't stopping. They were cheering for us because we had been there for a week. And all these little kids just wanted our autographs. And I'm like, man, this is what it's about. So when Joe Duff said, you need to get back to the kids, I'm like, you know what? It's time to do that.
You can kind of see that full circle
Yeah.
moment of the kids there are the ones keeping the passion for the sport.
It's about them. And if you read anything about kids in youth sports, most of them are quitting by the time they're hitting 13. And the surveys that they do are that most of them quit because of their relationship with their coach.
Yeah.
The other part of that is the relationship with the parent.
And having time and
It's
making it a priority.
I can't remember some of your coaches, but I know, no name drops, one in particular who I'm not very fond of because of the way he treated his team, the way he treated his kids. And you
I don't
just,
even remember who that is.
well, I was your Little League coach, so it wasn't that guy. Although there was one time you were crying behind that catcher's mask. I do remember that. So
Yeah, well, no, I would say one of my favorite Little League memories is the county tournament, and the whole year it was, if there's a pop-up and you got to catch it, you got to take your helmet off. You got to take your helmet off. And I would just look up.
Yeah.
And never find the ball. Never would take my helmet off. And then, like, the last out of the game or the inning was pop up, take the helmet off, catch it. And before I even, like, celebrate, it's like, you happy now? Like, and that was more of the reaction than, oh, we just won the game. I don't remember if it was championship game or whatever. I mean, tournament of my life, just throwing it out there. I mean, I like 5-tool phenom. It's just phenomenal. Like, if we can go back and rewatch that would be fantastic. But I remember that was one of those. And then hitting a home run in All-Stars was one of them as well. Because it was, no, that bat's too heavy for you. No, that bat's too heavy for you. You can't use that bat. You can't, that green Raven voodoo. I don't remember what it was called. It was green, and that's my favorite color. Yeah. So it was like, yeah. And then hit a home run, and then it was like, see, I can use it. And then I'm pretty sure I went and just struck out the rest of the time. But
you had that one moment.
Yeah.
But that's what it's about. It's memories for kids. 30 years in Little League. I coached in other places. So all told, it's probably been 30, maybe 31, 32 years I've been coaching. There's been one kid that's been drafted in the league that I was involved in, not off of my team, in the league. There's been one kid that got drafted. And it's not about getting drafted. It's about learning how to play the game, have fun playing the game, make friends, and as you get older, you get back together and you tell those stories. And I can tell you a lot of stories when I was a kid, but I guarantee you, I cannot tell you one score from one game at all, because in the grand scheme of things, that's not what it's about.
No, I'll say this. There's one thing I want to go back to, and so I don't forget my thought. It's going back to that end of college transition, because there's something I want to talk about, but I don't want to lose this thought. So saying that, so we don't forget it.
Okay.
So I can bring it up after this.
Okay.
But I think you're right. So with Little League, with Little League baseball, with youth sports in general, especially now as a father, I see it as it's a stepping stone to something else in life. Not only making friendships and making connections and learning how to work together, learning how to work as a team,
Absolutely.
all of these things, but it's how do I problem solve? How
Yep.
do I time
Yep.
management? How do I have this responsibility that I'm now committed to? And I think the one thing, and I don't know if it was intentional, and I don't even think there was ever a situation where we had it as kids between me, Emily, and Scott, is to my understanding, actually there's one, but that's different. The quitting mid-season, like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done. I don't think we ever had those moments. I don't remember myself. I can't speak for Emily and Scott, but I had one where it was not in the middle of the season. It was in the middle of college, but that was more for other reasons, injury,
Yeah.
problem, whatever. Thankfully, didn't go that route. But there's never been a moment of like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm quitting as a kid.
Yep.
And I think that is not as common as it is. Like, we were passionate about the sport. We love baseball. We were at the field all the
Yeah.
time. That was what we were doing. And I don't think there was ever like a moment of like, I don't want to do this anymore. There might've been moments where I'm like, I don't want to go to practice. I'd rather go play video games or whatever.
Yeah.
But the idea of like quitting and like stepping away, I don't think was a thing, but I think it's more common now because with life, a lot of things is, it's challenging. I'm just going to stop. Right. Or I'm just going to reset. I'm going to go back.
Hit the
Like,
reset
it's
button. That's exactly right.
the video game mindset
mentality. Yep.
of like, I'll just go back to the last checkpoint and
Yep.
just quit and start over.
Yep.
Or I'm going to leave the lobby, like what the kids say. And I think that has kind of transitioned over into youth sports. Well, if you don't like it, then we're not going to
Yep.
show up again. And I'm a firm believer of you start something, you finish it.
Start it, finish it.
At least get to the end of the year.
Yep.
And then
if you don't like it, then
we
that's
find
fine.
something
You
else.
tried it and
Yeah.
you didn't like it. I don't know. It's Little League has this phrase of teaching life lessons through baseball. And if they didn't come out with it, I would have, because you're right. Think about all the stuff that you deal with on the field. Every pitch, every play, there's a challenge. There's something going on. You're being pushed in some direction, and it's going to work or it's not going to work. It's the same thing when you get into what you're doing here. You're going to have to deal with difficult people. You're going to have to deal with a bad umpire. You're going to have to deal with a difficult teammate, or you're going to have to deal with difficult employees. And that youth sport experience helps you deal with that. And there's a lot of kids today that struggle with that. And Earl Weaver used to say that a baseball manager is actually 25 people, because you have to manage every person differently. And you as a player, you have to, your teammate A is completely different than teammate B, and you've got to learn how to deal with them. And that goes with you through life. And, and yeah, it's hard. And yes, sometimes you want to quit. And I can't remember what movie. I think it was Tom Hanks and maybe A League of Their Own. I could be wrong on that. It's the hard that makes it fun.
I remember the saying. I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't know if it was League of Their Own, but it's the hard. And if it was easy, everybody would do it. I mean, look how many people are playing soccer. It's easy.
Don't be dissing on soccer.
I played soccer, so
Today's soccer shots. All right, Ellie is probably kicking a soccer ball right now.
I played soccer. I'll rag on the soccer players, but I play. And you know what? Go play. Go play soccer.
Something.
Go play soccer.
Yes.
Go play basketball. Go play football. Do something other than baseball. Just go play and find out what you like. And you know what? I read an article from Cal Ripken one time, and the question to him was, what made you the baseball player that you are? And he said, the fact that I played soccer and I played basketball made me a better athlete. So go do other things, but don't quit. Finish out the season And who knows, when you get to the end of the season, maybe you like it.
Yeah.
It's not easy. I mean, you have a ball, as you know, you have a ball that's what, so
4 ounces.
whatever it is in diameter. And then you have a bat that's the same way. And, and now you're in Little League, you're just trying to get the bat to the ball. And then once you figure that out, now you move to the teenage / high school division. And all of a sudden the pitchers realize that, well, I can spin the ball. And now all of a sudden you're not hitting so well,
Then you become a pitcher.
Then you turn into a PO. And then you start
make your
throwing it by
living doing
everybody.
that.
That's exactly right.
I didn't throw it by him, but I got my job done.
But you don't quit. Don't quit. Just use it as motivation. And, I just retired. And in those 27 years, there were days where I'm just like, you know what? I had enough of this.
Mhm.
And then you get up the next day and you're like, okay, I'm going back. And you just keep attacking.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's an important characteristic to develop as a young person. And today, parents are very quick to let their kids pull back from things, and it's okay to let them challenge. Now, if it's abusive, if there's bullying going on the field, those kind of things, then you get them out of that situation. But if it's just hard, then you work and you work. Okay, it's hard. You're not hitting. Have you gone outside and have you been hitting extra off the tee? I'm having a hard time fielding. Okay, have you taken extra ground balls? And you can take that into your work environment too. So.
Yeah. I see it's tough because looking at it now, because I've had that mindset forever. Oh, we're not going to quit. We're just going to get to the end of the season. When I become a parent, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Now I'm a parent. That is a lot harder to set your personal, not wants, I don't know what word I'm looking for. Your personal feelings, I guess is a good way to put it. Because you don't want to see your kids struggle.
Yep.
So it's like, if they're struggling, I'm just going to remove them from the situation.
Yep.
I'm Papa Bear, whatever you want to call it. I'm just going to come in. Now it's no longer a thing.
Yeah.
But it's like a double-edged sword. You're almost doing not a disservice, but like you're almost hurting it more than helping.
Yep.
Whereas I think if you take a different approach where it's like, hey, maybe it's easier from our perspective because we played the sport. So for me to teach my kids, it's going to be super easy.
Yeah.
Right. I taught somebody how to throw a baseball who's never even touched a baseball in their life in 10 minutes. I put that on my resume.
Yeah.
But it's for somebody that's never played the sport, it's like, well, I don't know how to field a ground ball. I don't know how to throw. I don't know how to hit efficiently, right? So that I can kind of understand. I still don't necessarily agree with it. I think there's, find somebody. If you can't find somebody, then
that's it.
Learn
exactly right.
Do the research. You have so many different avenues to go. Just kind of ripping the Band-Aid and just like, we're out of here. Yep. I don't think it's a good.
I'm not a child. I'm not a therapist. I'm not a family counselor. But when you come in and rescue your player, your son, daughter from whatever sport because they're struggling, you're setting them up for failure. And I was listening to something the other day, and I will mess up the quote, but the gist of it was your desire to see your kid have success cannot be tied to the fun that they're having in the sport. If they're not having fun, you can't. I'm kind of messing it up, but essentially what it's saying is, let your kid have fun,
even if they're not successful.
Even if they're not successful, stay positive about it. Keep them going about it. Help them out. If they're getting up and going to the games and they're getting up and going to practice, they still have a fire for it, whatever sport it is. And
just be the support.
Yeah, it's going to be hard, but you're there to pick them up. And if they get in the car crying because they struck out 3 times, your answer isn't, okay,
laugh
we're going to quit.
Oh, laugh at them? Okay.
The answer is not, okay, we'll quit. The answer is, all right, tomorrow we'll go to the field early. We'll take some extra hitting and we'll work on some things, and just if they want to play the sport, it will aggravate them. It's an aggravating sport.
Well,
you're going to fail more than you succeed.
That's what I was going to say.
You're going to, I mean, you get 3 hits out of 10 at bats, you're going to the Hall of Fame, you know, and that means 7 times you struck out.
Yeah.
You know, so that's the way it is. But to pull them out of it and just say, I'll cover you, I don't know. It's just a bad path.
Yeah.
Unless it's a bad situation. I mean, if you have a kid
obviously
coach
situation
that's screaming and is a maniac, then that's a bad situation. Just get him out.
Or just go beat up the coach.
But, you know, it's a lot of the kids, I don't sound like I'm parent bashing, but a lot of the kids are responding to what's going on up in the stands. And
you just got to let them
just
play.
Sit up there and let them play. Just let it is a kid's game.
Yeah.
Even at the professional level, it's a kid's game.
Yeah.
Just let them enjoy it.
Yeah. I mean, heckling from time to time. I've had my fair share of yelling at umpires.
You know, it's you can't, well, kids say the worst thing about playing a sport is the car ride home.
Sometimes,
you know? You got to leave it at the field. And it's hard. It was hard for me.
Yeah.
You got to leave it at the field and just let them have fun. Just, if they love the sport enough that they want to keep doing it, it's going to feed your bucket of, I want to see them succeed.
Yeah, because eventually if you do something, well, I won't say 100% of the time, but theoretically, if they're putting the effort in, the passion, they want to get better, you're going to see success.
Yeah.
It might not be at the rate that you want it to be.
Exactly.
It might not be at the rate that they want it to be, but there's no way you're going to tell me that somebody that's doing something that consistent for that long a period of time is not going to naturally just get better at it.
If they want to keep going to practice and keep going to games, then they still like it. It might be a struggle, but they still like it. So let them struggle. We're all going to struggle. Everybody struggles, even now.
The way of life.
You know? But, man, it's a great game. Because when they struggle and then all of a sudden, I umpire the minors, okay? And you see the kid, you can pick them out right as they come to home plate. You know who's struggling. You know, their
hands are usually around their chest and
it's just bad. But then they get a hit, and you can tell that was probably their first hit ever. And they get the first base, and they're pumping their arms, and
like they just won the World Series.
And I'm just like, that's what keeps you coming back the next day, you know. And let them enjoy that. Don't be that mom and dad standing on the backstop telling them, elbow up, you know, hit it, swing hard. Just let them go.
I'm trying.
Yeah. Like, gosh.
Yeah.
Throw strikes. That's it. Okay. I'm pretty sure every pitcher on the mound, they're trying to throw strikes. You standing up there behind the dugout saying, throw strikes, is not helping them.
Yeah.
It's just putting more pressure on them.
Have you seen that clip? I can't remember what school it was, but the crowd chants. So it's like, when they're like ball 4, ball 5, and they got to like 12, I'd walk off the mound.
I know.
I'm leaving. All right, you know what?
It sits right in your head.
Yep. You win, guys. Yep. I'm out.
And you know what? Now that was a college player, but if they were younger and that was going on, say that kid was 10, who is that 10-year-old going to hear screaming from the hill? And there's 50 people on the hill. They're going to hear one person. They're going to hear their mom or their dad. Yeah. The other 49 they're not going to hear, which is going to put so much pressure on them.
Yeah, which then is going to in turn make it that much more difficult.
Makes it worse. Yeah. Just let them have fun.
Yeah. All right, so let's go back to, because you brought up something, and I never really thought of the connection, but I want to get your perspective. So going back to college, you're into your senior year, things are going great, you're playing.
Technically, I have 1 year eligibility left.
So they're saying there's a chance. I've seen you walk downstairs.
It was the rookie.
There's no chance. But going into that last year of playing and still having that unknown of, I don't know what's next. I have talks, I have this, I have that. Where I had a completely different experience. I knew the end was there. It was it's like time. You're working towards it no matter how many times you show up early, no matter how many times you stay late, no matter how many times you get in the game, no matter how far you go. That last game is there and it's breathing down your neck.
Yep.
so mindset from you where you leave, you are done at the college level. Do you go tryouts? Do you like, where's that? Like, okay, are you like itching to kind of figure out what's next and then it just kind of fizzles out? Or did you like say, all right, that's it. I'm not pushing anymore. I
Yeah.
guess is good.
So in between transferring from Navy to Maryland, this was back in the day when these teams, the pro teams, would have open tryouts. And the Orioles were holding an open tryout. And it was ironically at the Navy field. And so I go through the tryout, thought it was pretty good. The local sportscaster, newscaster, he wasn't a sports guy, but he was doing a story about this tryout, Andy Barth. And I become the poster child for his story. And he does this story about, me trying out and how I did at the plate, how I did fielding. And, he said, he must have thought his career was over because he missed one ground ball, but, he rebounded and he was fine. And then he cuts away to the scout from the Orioles. And the Orioles scout says, he's a good college player, but he's not a pro player.
On TV?
On TV.
Ouch.
And it's a fair assessment. It's fine.
My story's not that bad.
Well, at that point, you realize, okay. So then I go to Maryland, struggled, didn't realize that I was blind, so I should have had my eyes checked, and didn't, despite the coach telling me to do that. I didn't. So parents, if your kids are struggling at the plate, maybe check their eyes, because if they can't see it, they can't hit it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's, struggled, and like, you know what? It's time. Everybody knows at some point it's time.
Yeah.
So I listened to this podcast and Coach Ballgame, and he talks about when he knew his time, and he was playing at Brown University, and the pitcher snapped off a curveball, and he said, I knew at that point my future was going to be coaching kids, not playing in the major leagues.
Yeah.
And he said that pitcher was Justin Verlander, and it was a curveball that I had never seen anything like that before. So I remember playing at Maryland and going up to hit against Scott Bankhead, and the ball went past me so fast, it just confirmed that, yeah, I'm done. Because if that was inside, it probably would have killed me, because I didn't see it. And, then you just realize at that point, all right, it's time to give back.
Yeah. No, it's interesting because, like, for me, it was okay, let's see how far we can go, and then abrupt stop.
Yeah.
Because this was back when it was still regionals to the World Series, the D3 level. It was, we lost like game 1 of the tournament. So it's double elimination. So we're, play until you lose again. And we were doing that. And man, I remember like we were playing Frostburg. I think we were winning. Yeah, we were winning by like one run. So in the dugout, and as a pitcher, not being a starter, not being a closer, just kind of being a middleman, get us from beginning of the game to end of the game.
Yep.
Fill your, you're going to be put in
some innings up. Yep.
Yeah. Which I was fine with, because I will say on that same year for the conference tournament, I did have to go in and clean up a kid's mess that he then went on to get drafted. So, that's just...
He played a role.
Yeah. But it was, because I'm doing starters and this and that. And we're talking with Coach Anderson. It was like, eventually we're going to need you. Like, you are going to be the person that's going to probably start a game, because I have started before. I mainly was focusing on, being a relief pitcher, but it was like, hey, all hands on deck when you're in the tournament. You're kind of when you lose the first game of a double elimination tournament and you're just kind of like, all right, you just got to get through. Now you got to beat the winner twice. Like you're going to be there's a lot of innings to grab. So it's like, okay, like, so in my mind, I'm like, all right, we win here. I might be on the mound starting the next game going into whatever. I can't remember if it was the final game or whatever, but it was, we're winning late innings. I think it was like the 8th inning or so, up by 1 run. And then they get like first and second, 1 out. And I can't remember. It had to have been, no, it was bases loaded, 1 out. Pitch for a ground ball, get the ground ball for a split second. We're like, here we go. Double, routine 4-6-3 here. Let's get out of here. Let's go hit. At the last second, the pitcher bends down to try to grab the ball, hits off his glove, kicks in between first and second, goes into the outfield, 2 runs scored. They take the lead. And it's like, it was one of those where you can't get mad at it. Like, how are you going to tell somebody don't touch the ball? Like it's that athlete in you that wants to make the play.
Yep.
But it was like, it was just like the perfect scenario to just, and then it was like, that was like the 8th, we went to 9th, and we were all still kind of like shell shocked. And then it was like 3 outs, and it was like, okay, that's it. You're done now. You went from literally in a span of 20 minutes, you could potentially be starting in a regional semifinal or final game to now your career is over.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy smokes. And we're in the middle of somewhere in PA, and I think Mom was there, but I don't think you were. And it's like, Bree wasn't there, Emily and Scott weren't. So I'm like, nice. So, you picture this. Yeah. When my last game, everyone's going to be there. I'm going to walk off the field. But it was like, nope, you're done. Now you get to get on the bus and drive 3 hours or whatever it was. And, oh, by the way, you don't get to shower. You just get on the bus and go. And you got to clean out your locker when you get back. Everything's done.
And just like that, it's over.
And it's just like, just done.
Yep.
So it's a little bit interesting.
So my last game at Navy, very similar experience, sort of, because it ended quickly. I walk up to the plate. We're playing Army, which obviously is a big deal. I walk up to the plate, and we got the bases loaded. And I was 3 for 3. So I'm
Big
feeling
on
good.
Campus. Yeah.
And I'm standing there in the batter's box, ready to just get the hit to win it. And that happens. You go back to the dorm. It's nuts back in the dorm because they broadcast the games back into the dorm. And the guy on first got picked off. And I'm like, don't. I didn't even get a chance to swing. Yeah. And then it's over. We're off the field. We're walking back. I'm like, wait, I still want my swing. And
wait, guys.
It's over.
Yeah.
But
it's the game of baseball.
It's the way it is. I was listening to somebody the other day. He had a guest on his podcast, and he was talking about how he was the fastest guy on the team, right? And I forget what school it was. I want to say maybe Stanford, but their plan to get into the College World Series. So it's the championship game of the Super Regional or whatever. So he's on second base. They put him in as a pinch runner because he's the fastest guy on the field. And the guy who's up at the plate is the top hitter on the team. So any kind of base hit, he's going to score, and they're going to win, because there's a guy on third. That's the tie run. The guy on second's going to score. It's over. He got picked off. Damn. He said, I dove back, and I remember just trying to punch my hand through the shortstop's leg to find the base, and it was nowhere to be found. They tagged me out. He's like, so not only, and I think he was a freshman, not only did I end the game getting picked off, I ended the season for all the seniors. And he's like, just like that, we're loading up the bus and we're gone.
Yeah. It's so crazy. And it's definitely with other sports, right? Football, same way. Yeah. You get one game, right? Yeah. At least with baseball, depending on what level you're at, and now they have like super regionals and
Yeah.
regionals and everything. Now you're playing like a 3-game series. So you can have that like, oh crap moment.
Yeah.
And then be like, all right, we got to win 2 or 3. We either going to win the first 2, the 2 on the end, or second and third. Doesn't matter. We just got to win 2, right?
Yep.
So now you're like, all right, I can kind of mindset shift. Whereas like with football or even basketball, I think with other sports, it's like, no, you get 1 game a week and that's it. But it's just and I think, and we've talked about it because I think we talked about it a lot when we went to Omaha to watch the D1 World Series. It's like, it's a different level, especially at the D1 level, at that skill level. You have the best of the best playing in the College World Series. The majority of the kids on the field are at that point where it's like, I either got to play or I'm done. You're almost like playing for your life at that point. And so it's like literally everything is being left on the field where, you know, with professional, don't get me wrong, I love professional baseball. I watch it all the time. Masson just...
But they're there.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You know, it's the guys who aren't there that still have that drive.
Yeah.
Not that major league players don't have drive. I mean, their drive is different. Their drive is financial.
It's a little bit, yeah. And I think that's kind of, the sport is kind of transitioning a little bit, right? There's no, I don't know. It's a whole thing that we could probably get into about loyalty. Yeah. Loyalty and teams. And that's definitely one where it's like, it's tough because you don't get the Derek Jeters. You don't get the Cal Ripkens. No. You don't get, you know, even like you see, like when, like there's, I can't think of anything off the top of my head, but there's the players that are like, they've been with somebody for a very long time, right? And they're kind of at the end of their career. It's probably time to hang it up, but they just go one quick cash grab. And it's like, you just kind of like, I don't know, you could have went out. Right. When was the last time they did a farewell tour like for David Ortiz, where every place he went on an away trip, they had something was a thing, like, because you don't see that now.
No,
you have players
they jump teams, they go for the next million, and quite honestly, I mean, more power to them. Shohei Ohtani, how many millions do you need?
Apparently, I heard something that's crazy that even with that insane of a contract, the Dodgers have already made their money back on it.
And the way they've structured the contract, he's not going to really get paid until.
Oh no!
Well,
that's why, like,
which is brilliant.
Yeah, and again, we don't have to talk too much about Major League, but the way everyone's trying to figure out, like, how can the Dodgers, like, they're the super team,
They figured it out. Yeah,
they figured out a cheat code. The problem is, it's going to come back to bite them down the road because they're putting all their eggs in their basket now. But in 5-10 years, when the Dodgers are like, remember when they were winning all the World Series? Now they can't even win a game.
What do they call it? Bobby Bonilla Day?
Yeah.
And,
And
in Baltimore, it's Chris Davis Day.
Yeah.
We're still paying Chris Davis another year.
Do you know, what is Bonita? Bobby Bonita? He's got one of those with the Orioles too.
Yeah.
How many people talk about it?
He
made his money. Yeah.
And he just sits back and cashes a check every year.
Yeah.
Brilliant. But getting back to your point, the college players are driving to get there. And the pro players are there.
Yeah, and then also, like, they're driving to get there, but they're the players like me where they know they're not. Yeah. Right? I knew sitting in the dugout, going from high school into talking with Coach Anderson, I knew, I was like, I'm not going to be, what he's called, ones and twos and all list his numbers. I was like, I know my role is not going to be this phenomenal phenom, step on the field and blow everybody away. I'm going to need to be the supporting team player. And it's tough, especially when you go from being one of the top players on your high school team to kind of getting a reality check. I joke about it all the time. I'm pretty sure I've even told Corbin this. So Corbin was on the recruiting trip with me.
Yeah.
When we all went and we were sitting there and, like, you know, I'm this top dog high school player. And I'm like, who's this kid? Like, he's like nothing. And then the first time we went out freshman year for batting practice and he put 4 on Bodie, I was like, oh, all right. Yeah. You got it, bud. Like you, I can't even get it out of the infield. Yeah. You're good. Like you have it, but I think I've told Corbin that, but it's interesting because
it's all, everybody has a role and
it goes back to that team.
And be comfortable with your role and just, you know, again, as somebody that I follow a lot, he's got 2 World Series rings, but he's never been on the field. He's in a support role, And at that time, it was with the Dodgers, and the players loved him. They relied on him for a lot. And then he was their replay guy. He just got hired on with the Rangers, not as a player, not as a coach, support staff.
Mm.
And he's like, I'll be in the locker room. I'll be helping any way I can. And that's my role.
Yeah, there's many different ways. Obviously, playing is like the number one. Coaching is like close second, right? You're still like the team.
Mm-hmm.
You're making the decisions or whatever. But there's many different ways that you can be a part of the team, right?
Yep.
Athletic training, even like media team. Like
Yep.
there's some of the, like I listen to, I can't remember the name of the podcast, but it's somebody that used to be a media, like social media content creator for the Lakers.
Okay.
And when they won the bubble bowl, I don't watch basketball that much. I watch it. I lie. I'll watch like playoffs and I'll be like locked in. But if it's not on Disney Plus, I'm probably not watching it right now.
Yeah.
But I don't run
Bluey.
the TV. Yeah, Bluey. Now we're on Spidey and Friends. It's it's fine. We're also cutting back on TV a little bit because just sometimes it's like, let's just go play.
Yep.
We got all this stuff around us. Let's go
play.
Yeah.
That's the best word you could ever say. Just go play.
But he even got a ring as a media person because he was doing the interviews, doing the content, putting it out. Like, you're part of the team. That's
right.
It's a whole piece of everything.
And it's how much do you love it? How much do you want to be involved in it?
Yeah.
And when I was done playing, I knew I'll do it. I was coaching before we had kids. And it's, you just give those kids the experience that you had, something close to it. And, no matter how far you played, what is still 100 times more than what a 7-year-old knows. And maybe.
I know a couple that might,
but
they're not the dumbest person in the world, but they better hope that person doesn't die.
It's, you can bring something to them that they don't have,
also,
and then when they do it, like that kid who gets his first hit and you see him get the first base and smile, that's like, okay, now I got to come back tomorrow.
Yeah.
But
there's also like, you can also kind of like how we're talking about supporting staff with being on the team, like you can affect a player in a way where it has nothing to do with skill at all.
Yep.
It could be you're the fun coach, right?
Yeah.
You're the one that's keeping people engaged in the game.
Yep.
Right? You're the one that's making practice fun. You might not have a clue what you're doing, but you're out there, the energy, the passion, you're there, and that might be the difference maker for somebody to like want to continue and keep growing. Whereas it's not skill based, but it's still a part of what's needed.
Yep.
I will say it's interesting, like just even looking back at like my coaches, it's like I've had good, I've had bad, I've had indifferent, I've had ones that I've really enjoyed. I have a couple that I still talk to now. Like it's one of those where there's different styles, but the overall goal needs to be like, it's selfless.
Yeah.
Like it's not about me. It's about the team.
Yep.
And I think from the coach's perspective, you need that mindset, but then also from a player's perspective, you need that mindset. Like it's one of my favorite sayings is next man up, right? So like next man up is like, okay, but there was one, it's like you're playing, like your job, I can't remember what the actual saying is, but as a hitter or as a pitcher, your job is not to win the game. Your job is to set the next person that comes in,
get it to the next
guy, and then keep moving. Because if everyone has that mindset, it's not like you got to take on the whole world, but you're all working towards the same thing. And it's, you're playing, the typical motivational, you're playing for the guy next to you, you're playing for the name on the front, not the back, the whole thing. But it kind of, like I was saying before, it does play into real world, right? Because like when you go to a company or you start a business or whatever. Like I've learned a lot starting a business where it's like yeah, I'm the face and owner and this and that, but I can't do any of this by myself. Like, and it's definitely one where like the people that I have around me, it's like, look, they know, hopefully, if I do a good job, they know that they're a valuable piece of the team. And it's one where it's like, but we're all kind of like supporting each other.
Yep.
So like what you bring to the table and what I bring to the table might be a little bit different, but it's all for the good of the order, right? That's kind of like the overall, and you can see the comparison between team sports, individual sports a little bit different, right?
A little different, but team sports for sure.
Yeah.
It's everybody is working towards the same goal, and everybody has a role, and not everybody can bat third, and it's okay to bat ninth, and it's okay to play right field.
Yeah, because once the game starts, there's no
It only
1 through
matters in
9.
the first inning.
Yeah.
That's it. And then, the little kids, nobody likes playing the outfield. But then when you get to college, look how valuable those outfielders are.
Well,
and
when you get to college, those are like usually like
prime
your
spots.
Yeah.
Yep.
Especially your center fielder.
Yep.
And what people don't realize is your right fielder is usually their strongest arm.
Yep.
Because they have to make the long throw in the field.
Yep. And in the little league ages, it's, the weakest fielder goes to right field. Not necessarily. Because you got to be able to throw the ball from right field to third, right field to home.
Yeah.
And embrace it.
And I think, yeah. Okay. Like, it's like, okay, that's my role. Like,
that's it.
But I'm going to do the best job I can.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to pivot a little bit.
Okay.
Right. So we talked a little bit about the sport, how you got into it. I want to kind of focus a little bit more on the nonprofit side.
Okay.
Right. Because you are the president of the league. You've been the president of the league for many moons, many.
25 years, I think. Yeah.
So, how did you talked about it a little bit. You saw, some things you didn't agree with or whatever the situation was, and you wanted to get involved to kind of right the ship, to kind of get things back to about the kids.
Yep.
So what was the decision of like, okay, I want to kind of not only coach, but run the league?
So I was coaching, and I'm like, okay, I want to find out what's going on, just learn about the league. So I went to a board meeting, and, you hear stuff, you see stuff, read stuff. Okay. That it was enough to say, okay, I want to go back to the next one. I kind of like this, just the way it's going. And I went to a couple of them, and then I just started noticing things where the focus seemed to not be so much on the kids as it was the well-being of the adults in the league.
Interesting.
Crab feast for coaches. And I'm like, well, how does collecting money from parents for kids to play baseball equate to the coaches going out for a crab feast?
Well, you can't coach on an empty stomach.
Well, yeah. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and then I was just like, okay. Then I really start getting into it, and I'm like, no, something's got to change. And then you see, and it happens everywhere. It's not specific to our league. I mean, it happened with us, but it happens all these places. You read about it all the time. Just different situations where adults start to impact the way organizations are run, and they do it to better themselves and to gain that advantage. And just started seeing some of that stuff, and I'm just like, you know what, this is not about a crab feast. This is about getting kids to play. Let's be fair when we do evaluations. Let's be fair when we draft teams. Let's remember that we're a youth little league program, and it was about that time that other people were like, okay, this has got to change. Mm-hmm. And so we did have somebody stepped in. I think she did it maybe a year, maybe 2 years. And as you probably remember, she took the brunt of it. But things changed. And, at that point I said, I'm putting my name in because she was leaving, and I said I'm putting my name in because I'm not going to let this happen again. And it is any of these organizations, be it baseball, softball, football, any of this stuff. There's a lot of money that runs through there, these programs, and you have to respect the parents that are kicking their hard-earned dollars into this league, and you've got to do right by them. And didn't feel like that was happening, so there was a bunch of us that got involved, and I put my name in to be the president. And my commitment is that as long as I'm doing it, it's going to be about the kids. And I don't take money for myself ever. And we'll do clinics and those kind of things. Last year we started doing these like sandlot events, like pickup games and whatever. No, I'm not charging for that. It's part of the program. It is the culture of the program that we're trying to build. And we're not having crab feast. I had some parents that were pushing me around COVID because we needed an outfield fence. And, before COVID, it was $8,000 to put up an outfield fence. And we're like, okay, we should do it. Going back and forth. We kind of make our decision. Yeah, we're going to do it. COVID hits. And we're like, okay, we're going to hold because we don't know where this is all going to go. Let's just wait and see because we don't know what's going to happen. So we pull back. We come out of that. We go back to get the quote for the fence, and it's $40,000 versus $8,000. I'm not spending $40,000 for a fence. And people just were kicking at me. Like, put the fence up. I'm like, no, it's your money that you gave the league, and it's our responsibility as the leadership of the league to spend the money correctly. $40,000 for a fence is a little outrageous.
Yeah.
And I'm not doing that. And so long story short, we wait a year or two, and now we have a new fence up. It was put up by Harris Wood Boilers. And John Harris, he put the fence up, and all said and done, I think it was like $7,500. And yeah, took a little longer, but as the leaders of the organization, you just because you got money doesn't mean you just throw it around, and you just have to be smart about it.
Yeah.
And the thing that I really like about our board is that it is board members who don't have a kid playing in the program. So their focus on the board is the success of the league, not the success of their child. And
was that done on purpose?
Yes.
Or that just how it panned out?
It started going that way, but we kind of liked that model because much like me, when I got on the board, it was about the league, but there are people that will try to get on the board because they didn't like the way Johnny was treated. So I'm going to get on and fix it for him. And it's like, okay, you got to be about the league.
Yeah.
So you have to keep focus on the kids that are in the program. And if it's 200 kids, great. If it's 50 kids, great. Focus on those kids and give them the best experience that you can. That's your job as part of the leadership of the organization. And that's what you're there for. You're not there to have a crab feast. And although I love crabs, that's not what we're there for.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of like, when you hear nonprofit, I think people think of it as like, it's obviously volunteer work, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I think there's kind of like, not a stigma, but there's kind of like a mindset behind nonprofits where it's like, they're not looking to make money. They're not looking to do anything. They're kind of like not really a business, but they are. But it is a business.
Sure
right?
is. Yeah.
And so with your position, you have to kind of maintain the business, right? So does that mean like there's obviously a business name to it. There's the legal stuff behind it.
Yep.
Making sure that things are accounted for. That's the one thing. So obviously, I went to school for business,
Yep.
right? That's the one thing I think was the most eye-opening for me starting a business, starting an LLC, is because there's so much that goes into it around taxes and what can be this, can't be that. And you kind of cover it, right? They vaguely go over it in business school. Or maybe I just wasn't paying attention. I'm not sure. But it's one of those where you kind of you don't know it, you don't understand it until you need to understand it, right? Like annual filings and taxes. And so it's you have to, I talk about all the time, you have to work in the business and you have to work on the business, right? So you have to do what your day-to-day business is, but you also have to do the work on the business as well. Make sure, money coming in matches money going out, whatever. If you're, that's where it's different. So obviously for us, we are for profit. We want the money. No,
that's right.
But we, the idea is we want to grow, especially with how new we are. We're trying to get, there's that infamous 5-year mark for businesses. We're right outside of that. It's keeping, success and growth and having this become what I want it to become. The idea is, that growth, there's a direct correlation to money. But for a nonprofit, is that same mindset there? Is it, hey, look, we're trying to build the bank, so when it's time to replace the fence or when it's time to, you have that money saved? Because it's not like you go, for me, it's like, okay, let's go, we can find another client, we can do more work here, we can do this. Obviously, the name of the game is to get more kids involved in the league, not from a, looking at it as a dollar sign perspective, but getting them involved because that's what the league is for.
Right.
But is there a business side of it? Right. So you're sitting here okay, we have this amount in the bank. Our goal is to get to this by the end of the year. Obviously it's not revenue. You don't understand what I'm saying? There's ways to fundraise and do things, but how does that kind of work from a nonprofit standpoint?
Yeah. So we run into it all the time. So we're lucky in that we're through Little League. So there is some coverage through them. So Little League is a 501c3 as an organization, and local organizations fall under that. So that helps a little bit, but you still have the responsibility for the taxes and the filings and all that kind of stuff. And then as a nonprofit, at the end of your year, nonprofit means you don't have any money. I mean, technically that's, you're using all your money. You're not there to make money. But our district administrator, who passed away a couple years ago, he and I used to talk a lot, and he's like, I know it's a nonprofit, but you have to remember there can be an emergency. You also need to leave money so that you can start your year with something.
Yeah.
And he's right, because at the beginning of the year, January, you want to do winter workouts, you want to do all that kind of stuff. Well, you can't do it without insurance. Well, you can't pay for the insurance until you have all the registrations come in. So that can push you into late January, February, where you finally get the money. So then you can't do your winter workouts until February, whereas everybody else is doing them in December and January. So you got to leave something in the bank account to start your next season. And
so the goal every year is to start with zero, end with zero, as far as not theoretically.
Right.
Okay.
But Greg, the district administrator, you remember Greg? Mm-hmm. He used to say, there could be something happen where Little League just shuts down and you have to give a bunch of refunds back. And everybody looked at him like he was nuts. And then what happened in 2020?
Yeah.
COVID. And everybody shuts down. And now we're giving refunds. And there were leagues that did not have the money to give their refunds.
So how does that work? Do you get to carry it over? Are you you're just hey, look, we're just keeping this.
We just carry it over. I mean, you have to show that you're spending it. And we're at a position now where we got the fence up. We got some things we're going to, we got outfield signs and those kind of things that we're going to put up, and you have to put it back into the league.
Yeah.
Plus, you can't. I mean, you still need to buy equipment. You still need to buy, catcher's gear and replace bases and that kind of stuff. And
And then, so the
and
league,
insurance.
yeah, I was gonna say the league has their own insurance.
Thankfully,
and
it goes through Little League.
I was gonna say it's probably a pretty penny because you have all the kids liability.
It's really
God
expensive.
forbid something, yeah.
So now it from COVID to now, I would say it probably went up close to $1,000 a year from what it was.
Oh, geez.
And so I'm trying to remember what I just paid at the beginning so we could do our workouts. It was like $2,600, $2,700 for the year, which is a lot.
Yeah.
And then, field rentals. Now we're lucky at the field that we have. We don't have to pay a rental on the one that we play our games and most of our stuff on. But if you rent a city field, then you have to rent that field. And, as you remember, when that field flooded, we would repair it. And we'd put, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 worth of work into repairing the field, but we still had to pay the rent.
Yeah.
And so you got to have that money set aside for those emergencies. And I mean, uniforms, you'd be surprised how expensive the uniforms are. And hats. I mean, this is the league hat that I'm wearing right here. These things are $30, $35. And every year they go
Well,
up.
I heard they come with a side of crab legs.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're in the right crowd.
Okay.
But and it's expensive, and people don't realize there's an expense to it, and you really got to be careful, and you got to watch the money and make sure the money goes where it's supposed to go.
Yeah.
You see it all the time.
How does that work for specific? You don't have to, print out bank statements or anything, but it sounds like you get like an influx of cash at the beginning of the year, registration, kids sign up.
Yep.
And then you monitor it, maintain it throughout the year.
Yep.
You have your
You
different
get
fundraisers you can
get
do.
the big bump, registration, sponsors, those kind of things. But what that typically pays for, so your registration should pay. What the parents pay for is what uniforms, insurance,
Like the hard
field
cost
rent.
for
Those
the
are the
kids.
things that the parents are responsible for.
Okay.
And you try to they cover all that. But then there's stuff that comes up that you're gonna have to pay for, and things happen. Last year we had a tree fall down on the batting cage, and thankfully the cage wasn't up and it just took out one pole, and
Now you gotta replace
easy
it.
to fix. But had the net been up, it would have taken out the net, probably more poles. There's a couple $1,000s right there to replace it. I mean, those batting cage, the net that we have, we got it on a discount buying it through one of the high schools, and that thing cost $975 for a net, and that was a couple years ago.
Yeah.
And things like that happen, but it's you also do the fundraising, because the sponsors and the league registration doesn't cover every expense, because now you're rolling into fall, and then you've got fall uniforms and fall field rentals, and it just keeps it never ends. But we go through it every month. We have a meeting, and we go through line by line where the money goes, and what our balance is. And
So you guys bank statements.
Yep.
Each line.
Yep. It's nice now because everything being electronic, I mean, all of our receipts are electronic, everything's electronic. And so that's nice. It's just, I don't know, devious people can do devious things. And that's why I just stay in it, because I'm not going to let it go back to what happened. And, at some point somebody will take it over, but when they do, it'll be clean, and we'll have a good culture. And we may not be the biggest league. Next year will be our 25th anniversary of when our 9-10 team went to the state tournament. I don't know if you remember that when we went to the Eastern Shore.
Yeah.
And so next year is our 25th
25?
year. 25 years.
Are you sure?
Yep. Yep. 2001, 2002.
Okay.
I looked it up.
That's right. No, I all the years kind of blend. It's
Well,
very
and
interesting.
you know, so okay, we haven't had a state tournament team since then. I forget what year it was, 1990-ish, somewhere. We won the 9-10 state tournament. That's not what it's about. You know,
Yeah.
it's not chasing banners. It's give the good kids a good experience. Let them learn the game. And if they like it, they'll come back, and then they'll get better, and then they'll get better. And, you know, if they get, I tell all of my kids that they're 11 and 12, I'm like, yeah, it's going to be hard for you right now, but it's getting you ready for high school. And the nice thing is that some of these kids who now go on to high school, I've had one or two that will reach back out to me and say, you know, all those cutoffs that you were teaching us, that's exactly what we do in high school. I'm like, that's why we were doing it when you were 10,
Yeah.
you know?
Foundation.
And parents are, it's too complicated. Yeah, I get it. It is.
But learn it now. You don't have to
Yeah.
worry about it later.
Well, the field's too small to do that. Yeah, it is. But we're not getting them ready to play on this field. We're getting ready for the next field.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's kind of, I don't know. It's the money will always go to the kids.
Yeah.
And
It's interesting because, like, for a while, I mean, I started hustle back in, it's right before Ellie was born. So probably 20, I don't remember what year. It's been a couple years. And at first it was, I'm doing this out of the basement. It's a side thing. It's kind of like a little hobby, make a little extra cash, do whatever. And then it kind of grew and it grew and it grew. And now it's like, now it's a full on, like, we're looking at getting, like, going to investing and, like,
Yep.
like, it's just, it's a different, it's not, it's interesting because you don't learn entrepreneurship, like, in school. Nobody teach it. Like, they don't teach that. They're teaching, and it's, I'm not going to put my tinfoil hat on, but they're teaching you to work in the system that is built.
Yep.
Nobody's teaching you the things that you can do and be successful with investing, with running a business, right? And it's something that I talk about a lot on here, a lot with different entrepreneurs that I come across with, people that I talk with outside of entrepreneur, like outside of business. And it's like, you know, why not? There's a couple people that I know that they're still, you know, working under the table, right? They're just doing it for cash, whatever. I'm like, you know, you're losing out on a lot of benefits. One, and I'll say this, it's illegal, but it's more, you're kind of hurting yourself because there's so many benefits to starting the business, especially in the first couple of years. Like, it's not like you start the business and you just got to run with it. Like, you gotta go. Like, there's a lot of benefits for new businesses, for small businesses, like, and not even like, you know, personal, but like there's different things that you can do with a business. You know, especially if you're doing something that you enjoy, it gives you the freedom with a little bit of liability coverage of being able to do that without having things kind of fall back on you. But it's a different mindset because when I first started, it was like, oh, I have a camera, I have low overhead, I don't have any expenses, right? But it was like, oh, but you can write off this and part of your utilities and this and that. You have a home office. And it's like, then it kind of snowballed. And then it was like, okay. Then we sold our house. And then I was like, well, we got to figure out a place to go. So then we went into a really small little hole in the wall on the walking mall. It was good. Talked to that business or that building owner. He introduced me or showed me to the space on the third floor, which was probably just as big as what we're in now. And right around that time I got really into podcasts. That kind of was like the hot topic. I connected with another business out in Chicago and just kind of was like, I think this is something that can be done, you know? And then I started doing market research because I'm like, well, I'm not just going to start it if there's one next door. Like, what's going on? Yep. And then it became, and while doing all of this, deciding, okay, am I going to stick with weddings? Am I going to go more of the corporate route? Am I going to go more of the marketing? Right. And then if I would have said 8 years ago that I make, a living off of shooting TikTok videos, you probably would laugh at me.
Probably.
But now it's a serious form of
Sure
marketing.
is.
And it's I think I said it on the last episode that's going to be dropping soon. If you're a small business, a nonprofit, if you are anybody that is looking to market what you are doing, good, bad, ugly, I don't care.
Yep.
It is a free avenue to get yourself in front of people that are looking for what you do.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's TikTok and the
Reels,
Instagram.
Shorts.
Is the other one.
It's all, and the other thing is they all have different styles, different strategies. And I got into a deep back and forth comment. It wasn't, anybody, it was a good conversation it's crazy. Through a Facebook post, we had a good conversation in the comments. Mark it on the calendar, because everybody's always screaming at somebody who's doing something. But it was around, I'm getting a lot of engagement on Instagram, but I'm not getting a lot of engagement on Facebook. Okay, well, are you posting the same video? Are you posting the same way? And they were like, everything's exactly the same. Instagram, it's the same video, same file, same description, same upload, same thumbnail, same tags, whatever, same account. And I'm like, okay, well, you got to almost look at it from a different perspective. So Instagram, first off, the age demographic of who uses what is different. Facebook is traditionally towards older
Old folks.
generations. It's coming back around.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a whole theory behind that I can deep dive into. But with Instagram, it's younger, inspirational. I want to be my own boss, just kind of, I want to see what's going on in the world. Whereas Facebook, it's still based off of what it started with, is connecting with friends and family.
Right.
Instagram is, I want to see what the next IG person is doing on what. So you're going to get, if you do that type of content where you're doing motivational, you're doing this, you're going to get more success on the platform that is built around that type of content. So with Facebook, it's a text-based platform first, and then you can add photo, video, reels, long form, whatever. Whereas for Instagram, it's a media-based platform, and then you can add text to it. So you're naturally going to be more successful on Instagram with your media than you are on Facebook. But it's two different strategies. Yeah. So, and I don't think people fully realize that.
I don't. And I need to learn the Instagram thing, because it's, I mean, I know how to shoot a TikTok video. I can do a video.
The fact that you said shoot a TikTok video.
I mean, I know how to do that.
Yeah.
Barely, but it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
And you have to change with the way society is. And, it's our league has challenges, and we're the smallest league, and we are surrounded by giant leagues. And, giant leagues don't have the same challenges that small leagues do. And
they have their own, but
they've got their own, but they're not the same, And
too many players.
And it's Montgomery County, the first weekend they had registration, they registered 1,000 players the first weekend. I'm like, all right, we've registered 1,000 players combined over the last 25 years, I think.
Nice.
But
to each is their, like.
But they have their, so for us, we're small, and we got to
Can you imagine ordering 1,000 jerseys?
Yeah, no. And that was just their first weekend. They usually end somewhere in the 3,000 to 4,000 players, which is crazy.
That's also Montgomery County. Like,
yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's so for us, we got to grab those players how we can. And the other thing that we do, where our boundary is, and it's Frederick High. I forget, it was just a couple of years ago. They had enough for like 4 soccer teams, and they weren't sure they were going to have a JV team, or they didn't have a JV baseball team, because they just didn't have enough kids come out. There was a year where they had baseball tryouts and didn't have to do any cuts, but they had to cut extra teams of soccer. So it's our clientele is different, and you just have to get you have to find a way to get to them, because once kids start playing and they figure it out, it's a fun game. As hard as it is, it's fun.
It's definitely a challenge.
And
it's very
it can
challenging.
but you can make it fun. So we're getting off topic. But anyway, we did the Sandlots last year, and it was just a pickup game. So we started with just a pickup game, and then the next inning it was you had to hit from the opposite side. And then the next inning, it was, okay, fielders, you have to throw with your opposite hand. And then we started mixing in some of the banana ball rules.
Oh, yeah.
And
I think I sent it to you. Banana Ball is doing their own version of Little League.
oh,
So it's starting to roll out. I don't know how popular it is,
okay.
but it's growing. But I can't remember what they are calling it. They came up with some clever name for it. But it's Banana Ball at the kid level. Because if listening to that, I cannot remember his name to save my life. The CEO
Yep,
of
I know who
Banana
you're talking
Ball.
about. Yep.
When you first see it, you're like, what is this dude in a yellow suit
Yep.
blabbering about?
Yep.
But if you actually listen to what he's talking about,
Absolutely.
it's extremely good information.
Yep.
Very similar to kind of what like the mindset of that you have is like, it's about the kids, it's about the game, the love of the game. It's not about win, lose, whatever. Yeah, there's a scoreboard. Obviously, your competitive nature is going to kick in, but at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about, loving the game.
Just love it.
So
Yeah.
that's kind of what they're bringing back.
Yep.
Kind of went viral, went crazy.
That's, that CEO was on. He was a guest on the podcast with Coach Ballgame, and I have to be honest. Up until that point, I was not on the Savannah Banana.
Really?
I really
got a
wasn't.
T-shirt.
I just wasn't.
I'm pissed. Bree got to go. Maybe she didn't go to a game. She got a T-shirt. She was in Savannah.
I just wasn't. And I tried to watch it on TV. I'm just like, no, I can't watch this. Then I heard him talk, and what he's trying to do. Now I'm all in.
Yeah.
He's just trying to make it fun for the kids. It's all about entertaining the kids.
Yeah.
So we rolled out those rules in the Sandlot, and oh my gosh, they were going nuts. They were laughing and hooting and hollering. And then we, instead of doing baseball, we broke out kickball. And then I threw a volleyball. They hit the volleyball instead of a baseball. And then there were rules where, whoever fields it, everybody in the field has to touch the ball. And then once everybody's touched it, the runner has to stop running. And the kids were just hooting and hollering all night. I'm like,
Meanwhile,
this is what it's about.
the other team's like, what are you guys doing? Why aren't you playing by the rules?
So see, now that's a good segue into, I've actually, ball game, his real name is James. I've reached out to James. We're the league doing this, but the other ones around us are not. And it would be so much more successful if we could get buy-in on making these games fun for these kids. You've seen a minor league game. It's a walkathon with an occasional hit. You could play in the minors and go an entire game and never touch a ball the whole game. And the
Especially
limits
if they
are
right field.
yeah. It's a 5-run limit per inning. Well, that could be 12 walks or however many it is till you get to 5. And there's times when I'm umpiring where I have to call a strike.
9.
Yeah, whatever it comes out to. 1, 2, 3.
Then 4 would be 1. 5 would be 2.
Yeah, whatever it comes out to. Mathematician.
6 would be 3.
There are times when I'm umpiring, I'm calling strikes on balls that are nowhere near the plate just to hope that they will start swinging at something. It's boring. But when we do the banana ball rules, I'll send you the video. The kids just screaming and hollering, laughing.
Maybe it's something to look into. It might not be something you do all year round, but do fall ball, banana ball, and springtime regular.
Our fault. We don't participate in fall ball anymore. And
That's right, yeah.
Because it's just gotten to the point where, no knock at the other league. It's fine. But for us, or teams without lights, you have to go to a field with lights. So you're driving to one of those fields. and it's a 6 or 6:30 game. It goes till 8 or 8:30 at night in the fall. It's cold. You have kids who are pitching who are learning how to pitch, and it's boring. And if the kids are bored, they're not going to come back. So we do our own thing. We did clinics, and then we would just break up, play ourselves, and we'd make our own rules. And man, I'm telling you, it was the best thing. So James is actually having conversations with Little League corporate about trying to change some of the rules at the younger level to get more engagement. So, if a batter walks, and this is what I want to get our district to do. In the minors, if a batter walks, okay, coach goes out, does front toss or side toss, kid hits the ball, so there's some movement. It's not just walk.
Yeah.
Just get them doing something. And so we'll see. It's if you make it fun, the kids will come back.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's way different from when I was playing, because when I was playing, it was super competitive. Like,
Yep.
it was, you had plenty of teams, you had plenty of players, you had to make cuts, you tried out for majors, and did you make the team? Did you make the team?
Yeah.
And and now it's a little bit different, but I think keeping the same mindset is important. We kind of touched on the kind of like the last piece already, is like future, right? So like, this has been 28 years. What is like, obviously you've seen the league grow, develop, highs, lows, fun time, not fun time, everything in between. Where is the league going now?
So it's interesting now, because some of the players who I first started coaching are now coming back, bringing their kids back. I don't know. Do you remember Alex Collins?
Mm-hmm.
Alex was a assistant coach last year. Do you remember Matt Mervinsky? Maybe.
Oh yeah, he was. I was a little younger, but
you were younger, yeah. So Matt was my assistant coach with the Elks last year, and there's a player who I will see him tomorrow. I'm doing a t-ball workout tomorrow, and so he was the first kid that Tim Cox drafted onto the Elks. So he's coming back, signing up his kid, and of course Emily's playing or coaching. And you get these kids that are now coming back, and it just gives it a whole different level. I'm going to tell you the story about Matt, okay? And Matt, I don't know if he'll watch this or not, but if he does, he'll be fine with the story, because he was very open about it. Matt came back, and he walked up to me, and he said, do you remember me? And I'm like,
I don't know what I had for breakfast.
Not really. And he goes, I'm Matt Mervinsky. And I said, oh, Matt. And he goes, stop. I just want to apologize to you. I said, for what? He's like, when I was 12, I was a jerk. And I was a real jerk on that team. And I want to apologize for that. I said, Matt, we're fine. I appreciate you doing that.
It's
and
20 years a little late, but we'll take it.
You know, he was a 12-year-old.
Yeah.
But you see those guys coming back now, and they're adults, and they got kids, and he's helping coach, and he gets it. And it's kind of neat now seeing some of the old timers come back and get involved, and our board being parents of former players, just doing it for the kids in the program. We have umpires now that are coming back that used to play in the program, and they're some of them are in high school, and they get done with high school, they come over in the umpire game. When in the summer, this past summer, I did a couple of clinics, and the high school kids come out and help. And, hey, we're doing a clinic. You're interested? Yeah. And then like 12 of them show up. We do, the last 2 years, it's been in September. We haven't figured out the date yet, but Coach Ballgang comes out. He just travels the country and does these events. We've had 100 kids each year. And I put the word out, like, I need volunteers to help run this. And he's completely shocked every time he comes out. I've got 20 to 25 teenagers that are there to help. And it's kind of rewarding just seeing kids who were 7, 8, and 9 who are now teenagers and they get it. And I'm going to tell you this story, and I'm okay telling it because I've told it to people in front of him. There's a young man right now. He is playing on the Blue Angels team, my tournament team. Ryan Hill. Okay, I coached Ryan Hill when he was 7 years old. We were out this way in Martinsburg in their tournament, 7, 8, 9 tournament. He didn't have a good day, and I don't even remember the result of the game. But Ryan just didn't have a good day. So post game, we're sitting in the infield. Okay, here's where we play tomorrow. Blah blah blah. Ryan is sitting with his back to me, and I'm like, Ryan, turn around. And he didn't even acknowledge, and you try to get him engaged. Nothing. And I remember driving home saying, I will never coach that kid again. He can't even turn around and look at the coaches as we're talking. Okay. So Ryan's still playing with me from 7. He's now 17, probably 17, 16, 17. He umpires, and he's a solid player. And he is like a completely different kid. He is happy to help the little kids, fully engaged, and we got an Eagle Scout project that we're going to work on, that he's going to be involved in, and he's going to get his Eagle Scout. And kids change from the time they're 7 to 17.
Yeah.
And when those kids come back, it's just easy to keep re-upping each year, and it's hard. It's hard work. It's nice being retired now because I can do stuff at the field that I never could do before. I think I cut the grass more at I cut the Little League grass more than I've ever cut the front yard. If it wasn't for Chip, we'd probably have 8 feet of grass in front of the house. He cuts it every other week.
Shout out Chip.
And, it's like, but I'll cut the Little League grass 3 times a week. I'll be up there, dragging the field, pulling the weeds, just adding things here, stuff I couldn't do before. And it's kind of fun, and then you get it done, and then the kids show up, and I forget what league the parent was from. It wasn't our league. But after after I got done getting the field, I was umpiring. So I got the field all set, and it looked great. It was, because I soak it down, it looked great. And this parent, I think she was from Fort County, I believe. And she said, we love coming here because every time we come here, this field looks phenomenal. And I'm just like, okay, I'm back. One more year. Just
run it back.
It's all good.
It's nice because like you said, you're retired. It's always been something. I mean, I'm 32. So for majority of my life, this has been a thing.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't remember a time when it wasn't. And it's nice to kind of finally see like, okay, because like it's always been, and as a kid, I didn't really see it as a high schooler or whatever. But it was more of like, okay, once I got into the working world, it's like, okay, you really don't have all the time in the world.
Yeah.
When you're committing to a 9 to 5 or 12s or whatever schedule you have, you very limited with your time. So it's like to be able to like dedicate X amount of hours per day, per month, per week, however you want to break it up towards this. It's nice to kind of finally see like, okay, you're retired. You're kind of like, able to now just enjoy this. Right. Cause that's for a while, like from my perspective, it was, between the craziness of kids and family.
Second job.
Yeah. And then this is more of like the passion project, more of the passion, like this is, if I could, if I hit the lottery tomorrow, this is what I would be doing. The infamous saying that everybody says. Now it's like, okay, now I'm at the point where I'm retired. I've set myself up for whatever. Now I can just focus on the fun stuff.
Yeah.
And it's nice to kind of like, I have people ask all the time, like, oh, how's your dad doing, this and that. And I'm like, he's probably at a baseball field somewhere. Cause like, that's just, that's where you want to be. That's what you want to do. Like,
so I got the Little League, coaching the Little League, coaching Babe Ruth and a 16U and an 18U team. And it keeps you hopping. Sometimes the T-ballers are worse than the 18U. Sometimes it flip-flops around.
Yeah.
They all bring their different things, but it's rewarding. Big thing that we need to do now is really focus on getting new kids into the program, because I think they get scared away because it is hard. And if you get the wrong coaches at the wrong age in any sport, you chase them away. And we need to get out to the world that you can play the sport and have fun. And our culture is around training players, building confidence, making good people, developing major league human beings. And it's not around chasing the banner. Because in the grand scheme of things, it's nobody's going to remember who won unless you win the state tournament. Nobody's going to remember who won what tournament when you were 7 years old.
Look, I remember.
But you're 32.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Winning the league championship and then the county tournament right after when I was 12. Oh, I remember. Like I said, that was the pinnacle of my baseball career.
Yeah, I mean, but you'll remember those high points.
Yeah.
But what was the score of the last game you played?
The
last Little League game.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But the games I do highlight.
But I bet you could tell some stories though.
Yeah. Well, let me think back to my last Little League game. I remember my second to last Little League game. Took a baseball to the throat.
I do remember that. Yes.
So my last Little League game was a little bit better than that one.
Yep.
I know we lost. It was All-Stars. We lost. I don't remember who we were playing though. Yeah, I don't remember the score. I'm pretty sure that was a game that I hit the home run and kind of was like, yeah. But no, it's a valid point. You don't remember the scores. You remember the
friendships,
interactions, the funny moments, the this, the that. There's some people. I mean, one of the very first episode of this podcast was with VAR Turner.
Oh yeah,
Who I met. Went to high school with him. Actually, I don't even think he remembered me in high school. He just remembers me from Little League.
Yeah.
And we connected, and it was like, I'd love to sit down and talk to you.
Yep.
And so, but it was, I think one of the first things off camera, I was setting up and everything that we talked about was, remember going to the Little League World Series and painting, and then like,
that's it.
And it's like we didn't even play. We weren't even playing. We just went
just goes as a fan and just enjoy the bus ride. We ran into his dad, by the way, at Giant Eagle a couple of weeks ago. And,
he's really involved with the NFL now.
Videos or something, right?
VAR. Yeah, he does content for. So he does content for a couple teams, and then so Orioles, I think the Nationals, the Commanders. He's really tied in with Philly, the Eagles. He had a very interesting story.
There's another kid. Can't remember his name right now. Doing the same thing, NFL videos. And I'm drawing a blank on his name. He works for ESPN. Or worked for, I don't know if he's still there or not, but that's what it's about,
Yeah.
And so we're striving to get more kids in, help them understand what our culture is, help the parents understand the culture. I had a parent the other day, he's like, We want to sign up, whatever his name is. And, but he also has jujitsu on like Tuesdays and Thursdays. I'm like, whatever. He should be doing that. Sign him up. And if you just let the coach know that, we've got jujitsu on Tuesdays, then he'll be fine. They should be doing multiple
Or-
sports.
If you're not fine with it, still kick your ass.
Good. Yeah.
Maybe. Depends on how many classes he's been to. But
And then the other thing is, we're trying to grow the softball. There was a softball program in Frederick that was closing down, and we said no, we'll run it, and we're building that back up because the girls need some place to play. Yes, they can play baseball, but when they get to high school, for better or for worse, they're not going to have a chance to play baseball, and
especially at that
Yeah.
point, it's nice to kind
it's a good
of
transition. But
go.
And the same culture that we're trying to build in the Little League is what we're doing with the girls softball. And it's learn, have fun, develop, make friends, focus on the process, not the result.
Yeah.
And so it's good stuff. Plus, it keeps me out of the bar rooms.
I don't think I've ever seen you actually go into a bar.
No.
I mean, yeah, we've eaten dinner at a bar like 1,000 times, but go into a bar to sit at the edge of the table and do the whole pour me another one.
No.
I don't know. I don't have a lot of interest in it either.
No.
It's interesting because like I don't have time.
Yeah, time, but you find out that it's not so good for you. The older you get.
Yeah, and then also you kind of figure out where your money went.
Yeah.
Just very.
Yep. Oh.
Excuse me, I just burped. I should have burped into the mic.
Yeah, I'm sure you would appreciate that.
Again, it's just how things roll.
Goes back to that edit thing.
No, we'll leave that in. It's fine. That's what keeps people coming back. That we're gonna edit out.
Thank you.
No, I think it was. I'll kind of give my kind of closing remarks. A lot of people from my perspective have asked me like, the typical entrepreneurial question is like, why'd you start the business? Does anybody in your family, have they started a business? Have they run? And for a while it was, no, just me, because like you had a long career at a place. Mom has a long career at a place. A lot of family members outside of that made a career at a place. Like it was very like 9 to 5, I'm going to work for this company and do this thing and do my fun stuff outside of it and figure it out. And for a while it was, I feel like I'm doing something new, never a path, never traveled, right. Or whatever the saying is, and thinking about it more and kind of the reason why it was like, okay, let's sit down and talk more was because it's like, well, sort of like you are running a business. It's a nonprofit. It's a completely different mindset, different style, different goals, different everything from what you do to how it is run, to how it operates, to how you even file with all the officially, all the government people and all that fun stuff. But, and thinking about it, I was like, well, I'm really not the first one. Cause like you've been doing this for 20 something years, a little bit different.
Yeah. Same concept.
Same concept of, you have this other thing that you're taking care of. Like, it's different. Cause like, I don't know why I'm like, so I've always been creative, right? I've always enjoyed being creative, whether it be drawing, photography class in high school, architecture, whatever. But it was something about getting a camera and actually using it more than just a requirement for a high school class. Because what's crazy is I took a class in high school about photography, learning Photoshop, doing everything, and it didn't stick then. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then just kind of went on my way. And it was kind of around that, like, okay, baseball's over. I got to find something else, right? Like, everybody talks about what you want to do when you go to college, or once what you want to do, like baseball, and you want to play past high school, but it's never, okay, what are you going to do when baseball's done? Like, especially at that level, you put so much time and effort and energy, and you commit so much time to a sport, and it kind of goes back, like, once that's taken away from you, then what?
Yeah.
What do you do? Because, like, for you, it was coaching. For me, I didn't know what it was.
Right.
For a while, it was video games or whatever, and then it was through video games, I found a camera, because it was one of those where, playing video games, doing the whole streaming thing, whatever. Then I was like, well, I kind of like, with some of the YouTube content creators that I was connected with learning how to play video games, they also were doing vlogs. I was like, well, I want a camera. And then that's what kind of led me into cameras. And then it was, okay, this is kind of cool. I like this.
Yeah.
I can be creative. It's a form of a paintbrush. So Artie and I say all the time is, we're not painting on a canvas, but this is a form of art, which we're actually working with a nonprofit out of, this is like very early in the works. Nothing's been official, but we want to work with a nonprofit. They have a summer camp in June for kids, like it's like sixth grade to 12th grade, kind of like teenager-ish years. And they have like an art, so they have a content creators week. It's like an 8-week camp, I think. It's probably like through the entire summer. Okay. And so they have a content creators week, and they have an art week. And when I was talking with them, like, hey, we want to get involved. We want to first help, support whatever we can do. But, we'd love to, what can we do to get involved? How can we help? She's like, well, we have this content creators week. Like, would you be able to do that? And then she sent me the schedule, and I was like, well, we can also, like, we can help with the art as well. And she was kind of like, what do you mean? Not that she was like questioning, but it was more of like, okay, give me what your thoughts are. I said, well, photography is a form of art. It's very subjective. It's very like, everyone has their own style. Like, some people like certain things, some people don't. Like, it is a form of art. Even video creation is a form of art. So she was like, you know what? You are right. I think that'd be really cool. So we're trying to get involved and get back in, community and everything. But just kind of getting that creative, and then more of like, I think ever since I can remember, it was always like, how can I make money? I feel like I probably should have told you this, like, I don't know, 28 years ago. But if you would have just told me, like, hey, if you just tackle school like a financial situation, I probably would have got straight A's.
So that's what it would have taken, huh?
Yeah. Yeah. That's like, everyone's like, oh, I do math in like, pi, if this, like, it's, again, office reference. Kevin, he's an accountant and he's horrible at math. But if you convert the math problem to pi, like, not pi like in math, like an actual baked pie, then he's like, he's like a super genius because he's this big. Yeah. So if I just would have converted, like, if it would have been like, hey, look, this is the investment you have to put into to make money in the real world, I probably would have changed my whole perspective. I would have went to Harvard, whole thing. It's just, but kind of going full circle back to what the point I was making is, starting a business, being a business owner, about to be a second business owner. It's a whole nother thing. That's more off camera conversation. We don't need to bore the people. No, it's just very eye-opening, because like talking with you and understanding like you do run a business. It's just not the same business.
Right.
It's definitely, so I got to go back and tell a whole bunch of people I was wrong. I made a mistake. I do have somebody in my family, so I will correct. Actually, I'll just send them this, and then
there you go.
Two birds, one stone, more views, more engagement. And then, so to those people, there you go. But yeah,
I told them so.
Yeah. No, it's interesting. And then I think that's really it for me. I think we covered a lot.
It's
We're
good.
going on
Yeah.
like 2 hours almost.
Is it? What time is it?
4 o'clock.
4? All right.
I gotta pick up kids.
I got a pitching lesson to give tonight. That should scare you. A hitter giving a pitching lesson.
You could be a double agent. You just throw it right down the middle. And
Just throw strikes.
yeah, it's easy enough.
That's it. Just throw.
Yeah,
Just
it's
throw
fine.
strikes.
It's easy. Just throw it where their bat's not. Or
How hard can it be? You know,
very difficult. I promise you, it's very difficult.
it's. But when they swing and whiff, it's very rewarding.
Oh yeah. I don't know what is a better feeling. And this might be, well, you'll have to start asking other players, coaches, whatever, is striking somebody out or getting a base hit a better feeling in baseball? It's kind of like, you ever hear the argument of, are there more doors or wheels in the world? That's all. That, if you want to burn out the clock, that is the question.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I can make that conversation go on for close to an hour, especially if you're just trying to eat time, no problem. But that's the baseball. I think that's the baseball equivalent. Is it better to strike somebody out or get a hit?
Yeah.
Because it could just be a normal strikeout, right? You're just first inning, first batter, strike him out, whatever. You know, that doesn't really mean too much.
Or is it bases loaded, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth?
Yes.
You know?
Right? Same thing with hitting. First batter, you get a base hit, but everybody else, the rest of the game, nobody gets a hit. Doesn't really matter.
Right.
Or you get a hit and you won the game, you're the hero. So it's like, which one is like the better feeling moment?
So I would say the best feeling would have to be Shohei Ohtani on the mound, strikes out somebody for the final out of the inning, and then he leads off the inning as a hitter and jack one into the bleachers. That would be winning the
And
lottery.
then we can ask him
And then we can
which
walk
one
off.
did he like more,
Yes.
and now we have the answer. Interesting.
That guy's swing is just
Yeah, I've watched. I haven't like broken it down too much, but he takes a different. The bat path is
Starts
completely different through the zone.
Yep.
Which then, if you know hitting, or if you know the sport, depending on which angle you come in at,
Yep.
you've to come almost through the zone because you have a better probability of lining up than if you're going at an angle. So it's like, I don't know how. Same. The other one was, and not so much now because he's kind of like towards the end of his career, but Mike Trout. He was another one where it was like, how? I don't understand how. Especially because, like, for his build and his body type, his hot zone shouldn't be where it is.
No.
So it's kind of like, it's just backwards. But
I had a parent one time. I was trying to teach the kid, line up your knuckles. And
Yeah.
as you get older, they're offset a little bit.
yeah.
And this kid was, I don't know, 8 years old. And he was just completely wrapped. I'm like, you got to get these lined up. And she pulled me aside and she's like, Mike Trout doesn't line up his knuckles.
Mike Trout makes $200 million.
And your son's not Mike Trout.
Mike Trout can do whatever he wants.
What?
Mike Trout can. Never. I'm not.
when he gets older, he'll
There's
get
an old-
stronger and he'll be fine.
There's an old saying where you can hold the bat between your knees and swing, and he can do whatever he wants.
Hey,
So, all right. Well,
all right,
I think that's it.
good deal.
Anything else you want to say? Any crazy
Nope.
news?
No crazy news. Appreciate the time. Always wanted to do this.
The real question is, are you going to be doing content? Are you going to be doing reels? And
Yes. And yes, and I need to, and I think that's going back to trying to get more kids, especially the younger kids, because the parents that have the 5 and 6 year old right now are the generation that is growing up with this stuff.
because they're on that, you got to find where
And
they
I
are.
got to find them.
Mhm.
And Facebook is great for what it is, but it's not getting to them. And that's where I need to get to them.
Yeah.
And the school system doesn't help. I mean, they do a little bit. You remember the Friday folders? Well, they don't have Friday folders anymore. So you got to actually pay to have it sent through an outside organization, and they will send it through the school system to the parents' email. So it's the best, but getting to the people directly that's what you got to do.
Yeah, I would say, and I don't typically, because more, what are you currently doing? Kind of the, but I would say for free advice, well, not free, I'll send you a bill. It's fine.
Okay. I'll file it.
I would say like from like an organic, because you have organic and paid, right? You have organic content. That's just like you're posting a video, you're posting a photo, it goes out there.
Yeah.
There's no ad spend behind it. The paid content is your ad strategy, paid marketing, that kind of thing. Organic, I would say do year round, right? Find something to do, talk about something, start a podcast, do whatever you got to do to create long form, to convert it to short form, create short form, whatever it is. There's a whole strategy in itself for that. I would say on the paid ad side, you guys don't need to be running year-long ads.
Nope.
I think you have a window of your registration. So ramp up right before registration. What, registration's 2 months? And then
essentially December, January, and February, 3 months.
So you have 3 months. You can hit those 3 months hard with, whatever you want to put towards the budget, and have a strategy built to target specific, people from, you probably have the data of kids demographics who's joined, all of that. Yeah. So that's all information that you convert, put it into the strategy, and then run it. And then now Facebook does its thing where it puts the content in front of the right people.
Yep.
I would say so organic is day one, knock it out, right? Just kind of continuously. But the paid strategy, you don't need to run year-round ads.
No,
it's just a short window.
And quite honestly, do you remember when you were playing Frederick News Post? Put an ad in the Frederick News Post. Put an ad in the paper.
It's not worth it anymore.
No way.
Same thing with radio. Not worth. It's good in theory, but do you want to know the last time I listened to the radio?
Yeah, that's.
I know when was the last time I listened to the radio. I can tell you the last time I listened to the radio. It's the last time I was in your car. That's the last time I listened to the radio. It's Spotify or Pandora.
Yeah.
And that's the go-to.
Yeah.
But there's different, we can talk more. We're, I'll tell you from a non-profit standpoint, the same thing. We had a meeting with the one that I was telling about earlier, is because we're in a spot now where we want to connect more, get out more. We're always looking for ways to kind of interact, nonprofit, whatever. Is at the bare minimum, I told him, I was like, look, we'll get you at least a plan. We might not be able to execute the plan for you, but we'll show you the steps, tell you what you need to do. Here's the do's and don'ts. Here's what we would recommend. In the words of Coach A, I don't know if you know where I'm going with this. If you use that to clean a specific part of the body, then so be it. Or you use it in whatever. I'm not going to be I'll provide it, but you do what you need with it.
Yeah.
Just,
It's a competitive market. When you were playing, you had one travel ball team.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you in Frederick City, there's probably at least 20 of them right now.
Yeah.
And they're all pulling from the same pool of kids. And not everybody's cut out for travel ball. Not everybody can afford it. And if that's all they know, and you're not going after them to get them into the Little League where it's much more affordable, you're missing out.
Yeah.
So we'll get there.
Yeah, there's a strategy there.
Mm-hmm.
But all right.
Okie dokie.
Anything else?
Nope. Appreciate it. It was fun. Even though you're blood, You are a former player. So now you're on the list of like a former player who's
Fair.
helping the league. And you do have a banner up in our field, by the way. I don't know if you were aware of that.
I have a banner?
Yeah.
A championship banner?
No.
Oh.
Like Hustle Productions banner.
Oh, I didn't know that. No.
Yeah.
How did that get there? First off, I need to talk to my lawyer.
Yeah,
because we
probably
need to.
do.
Nobody gave rights to. You're probably bringing in buku players now that you got that up there.
Hey, you know,
I'm just kidding. That's fine. But yeah, it's definitely. I'm interested in the strategy. Like the nonprofit strategy is a little bit different, but we can definitely talk more because I think there's something there. The biggest thing, though, I tell anybody before starting ads or marketing or anything is you got to do organic. You have to do organic. Even if it's just, hey, we have this game. We got the Elks versus Sertoma. Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, here's what we got. Don't include any kids' names, blah, 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 whatever you got to do. Keep it literally friendly.
Yep.
But just, even if it's like hey, I'm dragging the field. I just got done dragging the field. I had this thought. Film it. Vertical, put it up as a reel, boom. Get coaches to do it, right? Especially if you're getting younger coaches involved and say, hey, look, if you could just give like a quick little rundown of the team, post-game breakdown, just kind of like, hey, you know, China Garden beat so-and-so 5-4, but what was really cool is Johnny got his first hit. You know, just a quick little something to put it out there because then now that's what people are going to see when they see the ad. They go to your page. That's what they get. And then also announcements, schedules when things are coming out.
Yeah.
Things are coming up. But yeah, we can talk more about that. That's my area of expertise.
I'm glad you found it.
It took still finding it. But
I remember you calculating out what grade you needed to get on a math test
to pass
the class.
Just pass the class, not the math test. I didn't care about the math test. I just wanted to pass the class. So I have to do it again.
Kind of effort.
But again, you didn't put it in dollar form. You put it in grades. You have to go to school. Blah blah blah. No,
should have made it a pie.
No, should have made it a stack of money. That's
fair.
Not that money drives everything, but it's motivating, right? Because it's we can have a whole nother episode about kids and family, and that's a whole nother fun conversation. But it's just kind of eye-opening. Fun fact, so Hustle Productions started right before Ellie was born, and the podcast studio opened right before Caden was born.
Okay.
My form of nesting, just pop-up entrepreneurship. Bree loved it. It was great.
Whatever works.
Yeah, so for the podcast grand opening, it was, okay, look, I understand that you're going in, your due date's in a week, but you gotta keep it together till we get through Friday, and then you can have Caden whenever you want.
Yeah, don't mess up the grand opening.
Yeah. Perfect planning. But all right, I'm gonna end on that note before I get in trouble.
Yeah.
So I will say thank you to everybody that was watching. We will link league information, your contact information, everything will be in the description. So if people are seeing this from the area in which they can play, they can reach out to you.
That's another thing I forgot to mention. If you're under age 7, you can play in any league now. You don't have to play. So the boundary for anybody 7 and under is gone. So
and then as far as, because you talked about fall clinics, off-season clinics, that's open to anybody. Just anybody. Here it is. So we'll link website.
It'll be on our website.
Your social media.
It'll be on our website. It'll be on the Facebook page. Yeah.
Social media, because that's going to start popping off crazy. I get you. Don't worry. I'm speaking into
works for me.
But we'll put all that down at the bottom. So thank you guys for watching. I don't know which camera to look at. I do it every time. I look at this one and then that one. Never look at that one because it doesn't even see me. But all right. Peace.